Now live and on lockdown.
Are you ready?
Broadcasting from Edinburgh, Scotland and across the globe.
Listen here.
You're listening to Ramsay Unleashed, Going Beyond Borders podcast. The host, Fraser Ramsay.
Hey, this is Afia Leatham, creator of the Frame Your Day app, helping you walk out every day in victory. I'm proud to be a sponsor of Ramsay Unleashed, Going Beyond Borders.
Hi, this is Zakia Ringgold from naturalsoapbyzakia.com, proud sponsors of the Ramsay Unleashed, Going Beyond Borders podcast.
And welcome to another edition to Ramsay Unleashed Going Beyond Borders podcast. Yes, I'm using StreamYard again. It's I'm resurrecting a part two of an interview which I did with one of my guests, the previous guest, way back on September the 1st, 2018. Yes, time flies. You wouldn't believe it. And this person has come a long way in a year and a half. It's not long these days. It's come a long way in a short space of time, and we're going to hear all about it. We'll have a brief summary of who she is and just the kind of general background, because if you want to go back and hear the full story, you can go back to the previous podcast and listen to that, and then come back and listen to this, which is what you can do. And my guest is none other than Shannon Marsyada. Got it correct?
Marsyada, yep.
Marsyada. I either way, say. Yeah, so I got it right. So welcome back, Shannon Marsyada, all the way from Pennsylvania, close to New York, New Jersey. Unfortunately, in the middle of a pandemic, but and close to the epicenter, which is scary stuff as it is. But I heard enough about coronavirus, but we will have a wee brief update about her area later on. But at the end of the day, it's not about the coronavirus, because it's about positive things, about really pushing independent artists on my show, up-and-coming people who have got inspirational stories, helping them, support them around the world, and that's basically inspiring people through their music or through somebody's story. It doesn't matter who they are, if they've got an inspirational story or if they come from nothing, is to be able to share it around the world, and also bringing them their music to the UK and Scotland and their story and brand if they've never had it done before. So, welcome, Shannon. Welcome back to the Ramsay Unleashed Going Beyond Borders podcast. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me again, Fraser. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing all right. As compared, like most people, we're not quite in the nut house yet, which is close, but we're getting there, I think.
I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty close to being there. I'm pretty sure I'm there.
Oh, I tell you, it's you couldn't make this up. Seriously, you could not make it up. If you just couldn't make it up. But anyway, let's just move. At the end of the day, but I think all the stuff that's been said for the last 3 weeks, we're repeating ourselves. We'd just be glad to it when the final switch is said, right, you're free, you can go out, you can go back to your normal things. Everything is open, brilliant, happy days. That'll be the main thing. But anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's go into you. So for those who do not know, let's have a brief summary. We'll encourage you guys, if you scroll back into the Ramsay Unleashed Going Beyond Borders podcast on Podbean, or you go to iTunes, you'll hear the previous interview. You'll get the full-length interview of what I talked about with Shannon last time. But we're going to get a brief summary. But then we're going to go into what she's done in the best part of 18 months. And she's come a long way, and there's lots of interesting stuff of what she's been doing. But we'll get a background. We're going to get a bit of a slight live rendition. She's going to sing a couple of tunes, but we're also going to insert the tunes into the audio for the podcast, because we are using a video platform at the moment, but it will be on the audio purposes. You will be hearing a couple of songs that we'll be talking about, and one of them is called Oceans, but we'll get more detail into that as we go into the show. So, Shannon, tell us a bit of a summary of what you've been up to, a bit of a background. Well, not really what you've been up to now, but a background to who you are, and there's kind of the ups and downs, just for those who haven't listened to the first podcast and want to know who you are, just for the first about 5 minutes or something. You can see how you get on. Brief summary.
Okay. I'm Shannon Marsyada. I'm a singer-songwriter from Hazleton, Pennsylvania. Hazleton is about 2 hours from New York City, about an hour and a half from Philadelphia, about an hour and a half from New Jersey. So it's like kind of like right in between all three of those destinations in each direction. So we have a lot of people from all different cities who reside where I'm from. But there's not a really big songwriting kind of culture here where I live. So it's just, it's hard because you feel like you're all alone in a big giant world of other people. And, it's the music culture here. And I can tell you this because I used to be a DJ. I used to also be a karaoke jockey, and, I do play weddings and things like that. And there's just not a big, it's all like, how do I say it? The culture is not, they all want to hear like the same kind of things. Like there's no, you never get a Diana Krall, request or Joni Mitchell, or, it's kind of weird. Some people have heard of those artists, but for the most part, they would like to hear classic rock and 80s, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. But, it's nice that when you're doing a Lorena McKinnon song, people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you do Lorena. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And so, that's where the gold is, in my opinion, as somebody who likes to do my own interpretations of other people's music. And like Tori Amos, she's another one I like to cover. And a lot of people have never heard of her and where I'm from. But if you go to like New York City or something, yeah, people are like, whoa, but locally here, it's just really hard. And it's hard to come up with original ideas and share them because people they're not looking for it. They're not, they could care less, really. So it's been pretty hard to hold your head up high in a venue and play if nobody's listening and you're kind of in the background and, so it's a small town. I mean, what can I say? But it is home and it is where I work, and I do the best I can to create nice songs that resonate with people. And, if I could do that full time, that's what I would be doing. I'm forever pitching music for film and TV use and things like that. But, I would love to be a songwriter. I would love to get someone like, I don't know, Tim McGraw or Bette Midler or somebody to do some of my stuff. I think that would be really amazing. But I'm just getting into the artist pitching realm this year. But last time I was on your podcast, I didn't even have my album done. I think it was in the works. And I think I was already in Vegas, or wasn't I? I was getting ready to go to Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. I think you're possibly going to Vegas, but I can't remember. 18 months ago.
I know, me neither. So I'm pretty sure it was before. I think it was before my Vegas trip. But it's really weird because like all these awesome things just happened perfectly. And yeah. I remember before I did my album, because I was scared. And I remember you telling me, you're like, you should just do a Kickstarter. Just do it. Just do, try to, and I'm like, no one's going to give me money. No one believes in me. And let me tell you something. The second I uploaded that Kickstarter campaign, I said, I'm like, God, if you want this album to happen, make it happen. And no lie, I surpassed my goal. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Well,
I get it.
Well, this is what I want to get a shout out to the person. If it wasn't for somebody, Jenny McClure, who is a singer-songwriter in California, if it wasn't for her connection, I would never. I mean, Shannon was thinking, who's this random Scottish guy who wants to connect with me?
I know. I love Jerry. She's so sweet. She's so sweet, and she's a great songwriter too.
So
I enjoy listening.
Yeah, Jerry's it was the connection because Jerry just happened to share your music one day, and I went, "Oh, I like this music. This is great." So I kind of had to stalk you for a while just before you actually kind of spoke to me, and eventually got there. And now you're on kind of the rest of history. But no, end of the day, we've been through a year and a half, the best part over nearly coming up for 2 years of the kind of obviously been building up connections, and Shannon's like been connected with many different artists as well that I've just kind of connected with myself. and which is great. And it's now she's getting on the opportunity. She had the opportunity to go into other shows and lots of other stuff and connections. She's now, in the next couple of days, she's been offered. Because we're all literally on lockdown at the moment. Everything's pretty much online, so we're not really going to anywhere. So a virtual sort of virtual concert thing with the RTV Spelzer from the Speakeasy podcasters, and she's offered so there's lots of things you can just do online these days, but at the moment I think the online is going to be the new norm for a while until we can kick off social contacting again properly. So that will, whenever that happens, it's going to be weird. There'll be queues at the checkout with everyone about 2 meters apart, and I'll be outside away down the street because we haven't quite grasped the social distancing's ended yet. But yeah, so I'm grateful to Jerry McClure for the recommendation, and which was brilliant.
Thanks, Jerry.
And Jerry it was kind of a share, and that's how it kicked off, and it was brilliant. But yeah, so let's tell us. I mean, Vegas, that is your Kickstarter. You launched the Kickstarter, and you said, right, okay. I bet you're just sitting there going, "I'm going to do it or not? Shall I do it? What did I do?" And you just did it. Tell us, going forward from there now, from that Kickstarter, the journey you've been on to now, basically, especially one of your main songs that is the key one, Oceans.
So the album is called Oceans, and it was named after that particular song, which was a song that my children inspired. Because my daughter, I have 2 kids with the type 1 diabetes, and so my son got it first, and that's when I started writing Oceans, but it was not Oceans. It was a whole different song at that point. And then my daughter had gotten it a couple years, probably 2 years later, and she was really, really struggling with it. And I happened upon the old lyric that I had written when my son got it. And it just, I'm like, I could do something with this. And I started tweaking it, and then I walked away, and then I went back to it, and then I walked away again and went back. And, every time I went back, I felt like there was something else that I could make better. And so I finally got it to a point where I was like happy with it. And, it's been a favorite song among a lot of people because it gives them hope. It gives them peace. My children, I don't think that they realize the power that they have with how inspirational they are. I know I'm inspired by them, and right now they're teenagers, so they don't care. But someday I hope that they listen to the song and are like, wow, I can't believe that my mother loved us and felt these things, this much. I hope they do. I hope they realize the value there.
So I remember interviewing the first time on the podcast, the first time things were, a year and a half ago. Things were tough for you in general. I think you're just the person who I think for somebody who doesn't have any confidence. Your confidence was not 100%. You weren't really you had the talent. I think you just had the confidence, and now the difference in 18 months is just wow. You couldn't make it up. It's like night and day. Seriously, it's night and day. And you wouldn't. It's brilliant how far you've come in such that period of time, just through generally people encouraging you and other people you can, especially Brent Mann. Brent Mann has been amazing to many people. He's always encouraging people, and a big shout out to Brent Mann from BrentMannMusic.com. He's one of the supporters of this podcast. As you'll see the name scrolling along the bottom if you're watching in the video, but we'll give a shout out to our kind of people who are supporting us later on in the show. But yeah, I remember you were struggling. Things were not easy for you a year and a half ago, and
they're still, I don't want to say easy, but I have a different perspective now. There's things that we just can't control, and I realize as I'm going on that there's so many different things that happen to so many people on a regular basis, and they don't realize that the struggle is sort of like a gift in itself, because you're you're learning to grow from things, and you're learning how to emotionally attach or detach from certain situations. And so I don't know. I Fraser, I'm going to say it. I blame God. God has like opened my eyes to some things that I can't explain, but I see them. And, you know, he does work in mysterious ways, but I definitely realize that there's no coincidences. There's no, everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. And like on the CD, like the song Ocean, or The Message, which is the opening song, that song is about that. It's about being exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. You know, Little Bit of Heaven was about, you know, a friend's husband who passed away. And, you know, it was just the way the whole thing just unraveled and came, you know, to light is just beyond me. I mean, I don't know. I just write this stuff down. I just show up and write it down. It just comes, and it's just, you know, I blame him. I blame God. It's all totally him upstairs. I got nothing. I just show up.
We are gonna hear. We're gonna have on the audio version. You will hear a couple of songs from Shannon, especially Oceans. We're gonna also have, even though you'll hear a live singing of one of their songs that she's gonna sing. Excuse me. I'm going to give a shout out to the people who I like to support, who are supporting me, the podcast, and who contributors. It's always good to shout out these people because they do great things. So, Frame Your Day App by Aoife Latham. She's in Canada. Natural Soap by Zakia, who's also in Philadelphia. There's myself, Edinburgh Dusters, who's looking for cleaning services. John Drummond from ideasgolive.com. He's in Edinburgh. There's the Guy Our Cook Report podcast. Eileen Smith from eileensmith.com. She got plenty. If you look at her YouTube channel, she tests lots of apps, and brilliant for podcast learning as well, brilliant for education. So eileensmith.com, that's ILEANE.com. BenitaCharles.com, who does her 60-second singing tips. So she's obviously taking a bit of a break at the moment because obviously she's in New York. She's a great artist and great for supporting. Patrick Voss, who does voiceovers, artist. We've also got Shannon Griffin in California, who does For Humanities. She's a cancer survivor and does T-shirts and design, and I create and brilliant other stuff as well. So big thanks to all these people. And Brent Mann, of course, I've mentioned already, Brent Mann from BrentMannMusic.com. So big thanks to all these guys who support the Ramsay Unleashed Going Beyond Borders podcast. And we'll be having soon a DJ drop from Alta East Pelzer from the Speakeasy podcast as well. Coming up, we might have it in this show. If not, it'll be in the next one coming up anyway. So so as I say, it's good. So you want to do a quick live rendition?
Yeah. What do you want me to sing? Do you want me to do something new?
Let's try something new, because we're going to be playing. We're going to play Oceans later in the show for the audio purpose, for people who are listening to the audio podcast.
Okay.
And then you can talk about another song, wherever you choose that you want, with the background to the song. So you can sing something new. You've sung a couple of new stuff recently on Facebook Live that I've shared. Not the one you did today. A couple of days ago was wow. It was what I said you'd like. I wish it was recorded now. It was good. That was just hard hitting, powerful, you know. So wherever you feel you want to sing. I know you're going to talk about a Christmas album, a Christmas song coming out for this year. Yeah, you might think crumbs. Mention the word Christmas.
Listen to me. If every day was Christmas, what a world this would be.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, let's let you crank up get yourself whatever you need to do, tuned in, get the vocals ready, and tell us what you're going to tell us what you're going to be singing, and go for it.
Okay. This song is called Something Beautiful. This is the one that you liked.
Okay.
The other day. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Imagine life falling like stars around you, the smell like roses on the air. A world where every person is valued, every moment treasured beyond compare. And even if there's darkness, we're still safe here. And even if there's heartache, we'll find love. And even when the sun's rays disappear, life is so beautiful, and that's enough. We're something beautiful here, and that's enough. So many empty hands I'll reach in for another hand, another heart to hold. How can only one person really think they can make a difference in a bruised and broken world? Don't be afraid to let yourself be stronger. Believe that you can break all chains. Though there may be so much more seeming wrong here, there's nothing happening a little faith can't change. 'Cause even if there's darkness, we're still safe here. And even if there's heartache, we'll find love. And even when the sun's rays disappear, life is so beautiful, and that's enough. We're something beautiful here, and that's enough. The past stays buried in the past. The sun will rise, a new day just ahead. Nothing in this world anymore is meant to last, so just let go and love and live each breath. 'Cause even when there's darkness, we're still safe here. And even when there's heartache, we'll find love. And even when the sun's rays reappear, life is so beautiful, and that's enough. We're something beautiful here, and that's enough.
Oh, well, hey, that was absolutely fantastic. That song is going to be forecast for your album number 2, yes?
That is going to be EP on my Easter album.
Brilliant. Wow, obviously for next year's Easter album?
Yes, hopefully.
Okay.
Well, I got to get through Christmas. I got to get through the Christmas CD. But yes, tentatively Easter next year. So,
brilliant. So, wow, that if you liked that, look forward, as I say, please support Shannon, obviously with she's got more great songs coming up, so especially for the next forecasting for next year. So as I say, at the moment we've got time on our hands, so if you want to support her, it'd be great. But let's go into, we've dissected a little bit about the 18 months. You set up a Kickstarter. You started Oceans, was inspired by your kids. Where next? 18 months. You've just covered. You've been, what I've seen, you've been performing. You've done your album. What have you been learning over the last 18 months? It's just you've literally gone from almost confident. What I said in the previous part, your confidence was a shot, but now you're like it's like bloody heck. Well, hey, it's a different woman. So tell us the next part of From Oceans Onwards.
Well, right now my husband set up a little studio for me that I'm actually on right now. Although I think there's still gremlins here because my speaker was acting badly and like in and out. So I don't know what that was about. But anyway, he set this up for me so that I could teach myself how to write, like to quantize and track bass tracks. And so what I'm doing is doing the piano, the vocals. Sometimes I'll lay a cello track or a violin or something with the software, and then I'll quantize everything, and then I ship it out to different producers that I'm working with, that I worked with for Oceans. And so the reason that I need money isn't necessarily that I'm going to profit, but that I'd like to pay the guys who are, working on the stuff. And while they don't, they're not necessarily charging me for things, I make sure everybody gets paid for their work, because it is work. And I'm not an easy customer all the time. Kind of like, I hate it. What are you doing? Ugh. And then my poor guy, the guy from Germany that I work with, John, he's like, when we were doing Oceans, I'm like, God, why did you change it? I hate music. I'm quitting. It's just ridiculous. And he's like, oh my God, what did I do? So, I'm an artist. What can I say? I'm an artist. But, so I am asking people for donations, like sponsorship, if they want to sponsor the album, and I'll make sure to include their names, and they'll get to hear like sneak peeks of the work that's being done, just so they know it's being done. But I am always looking for sponsors for the projects. Everyone I think who contributed to the last album was very pleased with the result, because a lot of them are going to be repeat sponsors for the next ones. So that's good.
So what's your average cost for an EP or an album to sort of, what is your to produce, basically?
Well, my CD, that's 12 tracks. You could download it right now on Amazon. It's only $10.
Okay.
So it's like $9.99. And then the other ones are also going to probably, I don't know, maybe $7 for an EP that has less music on it. I'm not sure. But if anybody wants to sponsor me, I'm happy to take whatever you can give. I'll still give them credit for helping me out, because a lot of people don't have a lot of money right now. I know, because I'm one of them. I'm not working because I'm in quarantine with the 2 diabetics. I can't be out in retail subjecting myself to all those people and then come home and I have these kids, one of which is not the best at maintaining herself here. So I get that it's hard, and you don't have to give a lot. If you want to be a sponsor, you can give, $10-15 is plenty, and I'll be sure to give you sponsor credit on that. And you could, financial backers if you want. Not everybody who gives a donation wants their name out there, because they don't want other people hitting them up. So it's totally in the control of others if they are able to give anything. So
it costs about a couple of grand or something to produce an album, or is it a bit more? Or
well, last year with the Kickstarter we asked for $5,000,
right,
and then we matched it. So what I was able to make, we came up with the other half. So the average to put a CD out, and that's considered cheap, is around $10,000.
Wow.
If you want it done to the degree that we did it. Now, we did it pretty professionally. I would say there's a lot of costs, like when you're budgeting, you want to make sure that you factor in a great mastering lab. Just mastering alone was $600.
Wow. To
have the CDs mass produced, that was $800, and I only had a few of them made. So, it's an expensive endeavor, and the guys, I'm very, very fortunate to have a team that's very interested in actually doing the music, because I think I would imagine from a producer's standpoint that it's fun to produce a song you actually like if it's a good song, a well-written song, to put your tracks behind it and make it like, I always equate music to a painting. Like the lyrics and the music are great, but when you add the colors to it, it's amazing. And so I think that's like, if you've ever heard the song A Little Bit of Heaven and Caught Falling, these songs were ridiculously, awesomely brought to life brilliantly because of the production. So yes, I would like to pay the guys who are putting the work into it. And, so, and my CDs, like I said, you can certainly download them. They're only $10 from Amazon. Shannon Marsyada Oceans. If you go on Amazon, and
we will get that link in the show notes for this podcast, and we'll put it out there on the video link as well. But we are going to play Oceans in the audio part. So, what other? So you've been learning. I mean, you've been obviously self-teaching yourself how to use not just GarageBand, but other programs on the Mac to literally produce all your stuff. I mean, what advice would you? I mean, you've kind of, even when it comes to say, I mean, you pretty much, well, you've got to get your team out there producing your stuff. You send it to them in your GoFundMe to pay them. I mean, what have you been learning yourself to how to produce your own stuff and how to really step up the ladder from what you knew before into now?
Well, I mean, we use Logic 10. I think it's Logic 10 here at home. And I haven't dived into like the actual making of like individual sounds yet, like where I would actually make a sound. I'm more or less just using like their piano samples or the plugins that we got for the software. I'm not really doing those things. Usually when you send music to a producer, they want it as dry as possible so that they can bedazzle it, if you will.
Right.
So I don't dive in very much to like making molecular or arpeggiated kind of sound kind of things. However, I do like the samples, but I'm not there yet. I kind of like just crafting the songs. I would say my advice to somebody who's, I know a lot of people who are jacks of all trades in music. They write, they produce, but I would say advice that I've been given is take what you think you're the best at and focus on that. And I think for myself that I'm great at writing music. I'm great at creating the nuts and bolts of something. And I've come to know that I'm not a producer. And so the time it would take me to get to the level of the guys who love doing that and are great at that, to me is time that I could be, now I'm at 20%. Sorry.
No.
Is time that I could be writing more material versus teaching myself to do all the things that those guys do. So I'm happy to do my part and then off it goes. Do my part and there it goes in a different direction. I'm okay with that because I know that they want good material to work with and I want to create good material. So it works.
If I could take only your pain, cast it away, make it that easy, I would make all of your days so carefree and breezy like they used to be. No asking God why you were chosen, frustrated and angry. Slows down then, but you've got to keep floating, and don't be afraid through water that's rising. This is your life, the waves might collide right in front of your eyes. Through rise and you fall. Moments seem endless, drifting all along. Never forget that they're here and they're gone. So don't be afraid through water that's rising. This is your life. The waves might collide right in front of your eyes. Through the capsizing, don't give up the fight. We're all treading oceans, and time is the tide. Sometimes the hurting leads to a turning, a change of the tide. We're just learning, like waves we're churning, we'll fall and we'll Then here comes that sun, the start of a new day, reflecting the water, casting out its rays. Here is that calm you've been longing to hold. Through lost you've reached found, so never let go. And don't be afraid through water that's rising. This is your life. The waves might collide right in front of your eyes. Through the capsizing, don't give up the fight. We're all treading oceans, and time is the tide. Time is the
Okay, since we're on 20% battery time, let's go on to let's talk about your Christmas song that you're telling us about that you're looking to put out this Christmas. So talk about that one.
So the first one, the one that I'm going to send you is Ultra Rough, Fraser.
Okay.
It's in work tape form right now. We're going to make it a little better before the album actually comes out. Everything's going to be like finalized, but you're going to be getting our work tape that we sent for pitching. And the one you're going to get is called Snow Days. I have it. It's like a Christmas time duet. It's really cute. So
cool.
You can play that. I'll send you a link for that. We have the trio, which you never knew that I had a trio, but
No.
I had a trio years ago. And I know we broke up, and then for 8 years we didn't talk to each other.
Why did you break up?
I don't want to get into it because the past stays buried in the past. The sun will rise a new day just ahead. That's where part of this lyrics came from. But it's over, and so we all are back together. We're different now than we were then. So, because people do change.
Yes.
And we do, forgiveness is a very valuable commodity if you're ever able to use it. And I think more people should use it. But I am so happy that we're moving forward again together in a direction, because sometimes you just have people that you just gel with. And that's a really special thing to find if you're a musician. And we all realize that. And we're looking very forward to making some of these songs really just awesome. And because I know what it feels like when we play them. So
Right.
I hope it comes across when we actually track them. So you're going to be getting a mix of different production and different people working different parts. I'm going to have I have some friend violinists that are going to debut on some of the tracks too. So it should be interesting.
Thank God for snow days, those we don't have to go stays. Thank God we're trapped here inside. Those you and me home breaks us, buried in deep make silver screen movie, the best of times. Stuck here together, thank God for bad weather.
Don't worry, babe, I'll wrap you warm.
Our chocolate kisses, all this we've been missing.
Sunny days don't have nothing on snow days. Storms. Thank God for snow days. No, He don't make mistakes. God knows just what weary souls are needing. He makes the clouds break and down for the snowflakes. Sparkling magic for the child of bleeding. Stuck here together, thank God for bad weather. Don't worry, babe, I'll wrap you warm.
Hot chocolate kisses, all this we've been missing.
Sunny days don't have nothing on snow days. Storms.
Thank God for snow days, those we don't have to go stays.
Thank God I'm trapped here with you inside. These you and me home breaks us, buried in deep makes.
Silver screen movies, the best of times. Indoors, no
Sunny days don't have nothing on snow days. Storms.
Yeah.
So while we're since using your phone and you are on your batteries, we're against the battery at the moment. So anything else? Talk about briefly about the live stuff you've done, because you've been doing a few gigs over the last year and a half. Well, probably say last year you've been performing in places and doing. It's been great. Talk about the experience of them.
Well, I was lucky enough to land a residency gig at a nicer upscale restaurant here in town called Four Blooms. So I was playing there several times a week for a while. And then, of course, several times a month there. And now they're not open. So there went that. And I was just starting to pick up momentum at some wineries and things. And I have some weddings coming up, and I've played some funerals, on the fly. I'm a music minister at my church, so I'm able to jump in and put them together for people when I'm needed. So I'm just kind of doing the best I can with what I'm able to do, and, you know, hoping I can help people. You know, music is like the way that I get feelings out. And I hope, I often hear from people that, you know, the song that they heard on a live on Facebook or whatever is a song they needed to hear that day. So I'll take it, you know?
Brilliant. So what do you, to whatever we have of this year left, whatever we think we'll get back to be able to do things, what would you like to try and achieve? Obviously, you've got the Christmas song, yes, but anything else you want to hope you'll get done before the end of 2020?
Well, I'd really like to have one of my songs used in a major motion picture. That would be really cool.
So for those who are listening, who might be in the movie business or somewhere form, and you're listening, please contact. She's here.
Help.
But yes, you like a motion picture, good achievement. Let's see if we can try and make that happen. See, reach out to people who are doing films or something. See what we can work on. See if we can reach out to. Who knows? You'll be somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And before you know it, you find the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we can work on that one. Anything else you want to try and do?
I want to try and get. I've been invited to write I don't want to call it staff writing, but to be in if you're pitching music to film and TV, and they need work for specific titles. I've been invited from a couple different licensing houses to be on that kind of team where we create something specific to the material we're visibly seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of doing that. Again, I'm not the producer end of it. So I'm kind of like, all right, well, I can write the song. I think I'm going to try and put a team together and get some of the guys that I've worked with for a while on board with it. And maybe we can all work together and get some really good stuff out quickly that can be used for like film or TV shows or like Netflix or, you know, whatever. Because I don't know how long major motion picture stuff is even going to be a thing because of all this sickness flying through the air. So we might be paying. I know the first movie that ever did it was Invisible Man, which they just released that movie, but they released it in home. So you can purchase it for $20 to watch it like you're going to the movies, except you do it at your house. So I have a feeling that that's going to be the future of the film industry, that you're going to just be able to almost like a pay-per-view kind of thing for movies in your home. Yeah. I could see it going that way. And certainly going forward, you know, my job in retail, I'm out in the public. I'm definitely, after all this, considering a job where I can continue to do it from home. I'm thinking, you know, I might be switching jobs. I don't want to because I like my team at work that I work with, but I mean, I haven't even been there. And I'm like going forward in my head, I'm like, maybe I should prepare for a job that I can continue to work if this were to happen again, because, you know, the flu of 1918, the influenza, it wasn't the first wave that killed everybody. It was the second wave. Right. So if anyone goes into their history, I mean, my grandfather lost 5 siblings in 1918 from that. So, I'm thinking along those lines of scurrying for a job where I have limited contact with people, maybe a mail carrier, something, you know, that I can have like a bread and butter job and still do the things I love, like music and you know, that's my thought process right now. Lots to think about. So
for those of you listening, we will have, as you hear Ocean, you would have heard Oceans, and we'll have the Christmas song. We've heard that as well. And you'll hear maybe anything else. We've heard the live, which has been fantastic. It's been great, just as I say, for everyone, because we're running on battery time at the moment because she's using her phone. We are doing
Sorry.
No, it's cool. We did delay this slightly because we're going to charge the phone up. So, as I say, it's been great just to catch up with Shannon. And I think it's just using this opportunity to catch up with people on the podcast because we all get busy, and I've been sometimes you just get busy and I can't do the podcast, and it's not as frequent as I'd like to be. And it's nice to have the opportunity to be able to throw out some podcasts and be able to catch up how people have been going and they're doing. I mean, and from interviewed them last time, so I've got other people I want to interview. I want to catch up since I last interviewed them as well, and just hear what they've been doing. And I mean, time flies. You think you blink these days, and before it was 2 seconds ago I was over in America in the end of September, October time of 2018. Now it's April 2020, and Wickemball have come from being planning 2020 to be, it's going to be great, we'll do this and do that. No, we're not doing that. We're just sitting down, as you know. So anyway, we're all in the same. It's strange that something from this one virus has kind of knackered the whole world up, is to hopefully just put us on full stop button, do nothing. What can you do? And so there's obviously a reason why this is happening in our lifetime, and it's a reason why hopefully whatever comes out of this for all of us, it will make us better, stronger, and hopefully we will just have something really big to launch going forward in the next few weeks, months, next year, and that's what we have to aim for. Basically look to 2021 and then use this time to plan if we can. Yes, it's frustrating for all of us. It's very hard and it's tough times, but we're just going to keep going the best we can. It's not easy, but so at least you're focused, which is great. And hopefully in 18 months' time, you'll be on billboards and you'll be on whatever. You never know.
I did get on billboards this year. I wrote my first jingle for a business, so that was exciting. Yeah, and I ended up on their billboard. They let me be a model on their billboard, which was fun, and I got paid. It was a nice paid gig, and because I wasn't sure what to charge them, and I researched how the first jingle for somebody is, and it of course ranged anywhere from $50 to $12,000. So sweet. I sent the guy the link and I'm like, here, you pay me whatever you want to, and so we worked out a nice rate, and I was happy with it, and it was a neat experience. I've never done that before, and yes, I was on billboards. There you go.
Well, that's good. But hey,
it was cool.
Well, listen, anything you want to say to wrap up this year? Anything for people who are listening?
Yeah, I would say, okay, things stink right now for everyone, and it's okay because we're going to be able to get back into the groove of things, and we're going to come out of it wiser than we were before we went in, because we've learned an awful lot, and we're going to come out more prepared so we can plan our next moves. And, if everyone just does what they need to do to stay healthy and strong, I think we'll come out on top and we'll be fine. And I'm pretty optimistic about the future. I have a lot of thinking for myself I have to do. I'm sure a lot of people are also considering finding work that's doable from home. I told my children who are looking at colleges right now that they definitely want to consider something they can do online, just in case. Because, again, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the future holds. But I'm a better to be safe than sorry kind of gal. And, my wish is that everyone just really thinks about things and stays positive, because it's easy to get jaded. It's easy to get down and out about this. It is, to a degree, it's an oppression of us, A lot of people don't feel as resourceful as they typically are. I'm one of them. And a lot of people, I have so many friends that are so sick right now, and they're like, oh my God, I feel sick, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's because they're sitting home thinking about it. Exactly. I'm like, that's because you're not focusing on other things. You're pondering the way you feel. And because now you have time to sit there and be like, oh, I don't feel so good, you know?
Exactly.
But do we ever really feel that good? I mean, it is hay fever season, right? We're like in the throes of spring sickness and allergies. I don't know. So I just hope everyone goes out, stays positive, focuses on what's next. And, you just do the best you can every day.
Well, I want to thank Shannon for being on the basically part 2 of the Ramsay Unleashed Going Beyond Borders podcast. As it was 18 months ago when last interviewed. And the change is fantastic. And we look forward to the next 18 months and where that will take her. And hopefully even next step on the ladder. And we look forward to hearing about it then. If she's not that big, if she's more famous, and I'm still just this wee guy, Scottish guy, doing a podcast on Facebook.
Oh, Fraser, I love you. Thank you for having me on. First of all, second of all, I really like the idea of a world tour. Just saying.
Okay.
So I don't know how I would
do
that, but if anyone out there knows anything about that, Fraser planted the seed. Okay, so hit me up and let's figure out how to do it because I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea how to do that.
Well, let's see what we can work out. I'll get Brent Mann on the case. Big shout out to Brent Mann again because he's always. So we'll get him over and we'll sort something out. But anyway, to everyone who's listening on, we've been using StreamYard. We've been live on Facebook. We've been live on Periscope via Twitter. As I say, for the audio purposes, mainly we're just using a video stream for once to a bit of difference. But as I say, for the audio is audio mainly, maybe do for the podcast. But it's just we will add the tunes. And as I say, a big shout out to our supporters and sponsors again that you heard earlier in the show. So till next time, have a great one. Stay safe. Stay home. Save lives. Save the hospitals and everyone else. And let's just hope this is over soon. Okay. But to everyone, thank you, Shannon, and take it easy.
Thank you, Fraser.
To everybody who's watching, we'll see you later.